Welcome back, guys, to Java Space. So today we are going to look at timed annotation, MeterRegistry. So we saw that in the previous lecture we saw how we invaded our controller in mixing concerns. Like we added code to capture matrix in a controller, and this ought not to be so. We were actually mixing concerns, and we want to see how we can avoid that. So this is where Spring AOP, aspect-oriented programming, comes to our rescue. So this at-timed annotation, we are just going to put it, and it's going to do the work for us. And before I even go, I want to mention that I believe the at-timed annotation uses some form of an around advice, because it obviously, if it's calculating the time when the method starts execution and when it ends, and we are concerned with when the method that is being called returns, which means we are not only focusing on the before, we are also focusing on the after. And that's where now the around advice comes into play, because you want to control the start and the end. So I believe the at-timed annotation in a way is using an around advice. I may be wrong, but that's how my analysis goes. So let's get into the code and see how we can remove code scattering or mixing of concerns. So in my code, I have removed that code that you saw that was here, where we declared timers, and in the controller we actually registered them in a MeterRegistry. But this time around, we want to move that code out of this controller, because clearly it doesn't belong here. So the first thing we do is you configure a timed aspect. And as you see, we have a MeterRegistry, then we give it this register. This is the setup. Then on your controller method, you can then add your at-timed annotation. As you can see, we have at-timed, then we also have quiz.timer, which we had in the previous way of implementing this. Then we have those, we also had source and quiz summary tag. So what I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna put this right on this method, and then this one we're gonna call it level summary. We're gonna give it that tag. So I'm going to run this code. So what I'm going to do after running this code, I'm just going to go to Postman, and then I'll call level, the code that get a level from a database, which is basically this method call. Then I will come to this one. So we are intercepting this method call, and we are also intercepting this method call. And so I don't know if I mentioned this, but this Spring AOP, we know that it works with proxies. We have what we call dynamic proxy or interface-based proxy. Then we have CGLB proxy. And since this class is not implementing any interface, then we are going to go for class-based proxy, which is a CGLB proxy, which means Spring will create a proxy. Then it will when you make a call to this endpoint, the call will not come to this controller. It will go through a proxy. Then the proxy will delegate a call to the actual controller. Then in the process, it adds its own code to perform some timing, then do whatever it has to do. And as I mentioned, this is, I believe it's an around advice. So let me not go into the details of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this several times. I didn't count how many times I called this that endpoint. Also, I'm going to come here this one 1 2 3 4 5. Then let's come and see our metrics now. So let's see what we have. Quiz.timer. So this is what we have. So as you can see now, we have two of this quiz timer, which is for the other one is for level, the other one is for summary. So because I created text, I can drill it down to the one I want. So I can say tag equals to source, then I could say quiz summary. Then if I do that, I will only get the one for quiz summary, and which is here, find level quiz. This is this method. Then if I say level summary, then it says level by ID, the method that was intercepted, and you get the metrics for that particular tag. So this is the first way of achieving this that we want to achieve using a timed annotation. So I'm going to show you the other way where you are using an aspect. So someone might say, but still we have a timed annotation in the controller. In a way, we don't want to see it. But this is not bad, guys. It's still okay. But I'm just going to show you how you can achieve this also using some aspect, which means we don't have anything to do with annotations in this particular method.